Welcome to the Scariest Things podcast, your gateway to the trends and tropes of the horror genre. This is episode 152, where we are talking the scariest films of all time.
Woohoo!
This is Mike Campbell, and I am joined by
Eric Lee.
And from New Orleans, as always,
Liz Williams.
And our super duper extra special guest. This is gonna be a multi-hyphenate guest / statistician / stand-in podcaster / there's got to be other things too, but it's definitely multi-hyphenate.
Well, it's Ian Parker.
Yes.
Regardless of how many hyphens you want to put in it. Ian-Parker.
Yes, Ian-Parker. Thank you for joining us, Ian, and thank you for all of the incredible work that you did in culling together. How many films did we look at here? Are we looking at?
Oh, well,
in total.
Oh, in total. 516 total movies from all the ballots that were submitted this year.
And for those of you who aren't familiar with the way that this works, what we had done was we had canvassed some of our favorite contacts and patrons and friends to contribute their top 25 lists. And this was a weighted aggregate. So what we would say is from your 25 films, your number one film is worth 25 points. Your number two is worth 24 on and down the line till their 25th, which is only 1 point. And it makes some of the balloting very interesting towards the bottom of our list. I think historically we did this 5 years ago,
right,
when we were a fledgling operation, didn't know what the hell we were doing, and now that we only know a little bit more now than we did then, we decided we'd come back to it for a number of reasons. We know a lot more people within the industry now.
Hundreds of people,
millions, and
thousands and
billions.
Thousands of horror aficionados spread through all over the globe.
Yes, and actually that's true. We have
literally all over the globe.
And I think what the other aspect is, we as a group, Liz, Mike, and I, and we've seen a lot more movies in the last 5 years just by doing what we're doing. And we've added.
I would say when we did the top 100 list 5 years ago, I bet there was probably 20 films I hadn't seen on the top 100.
Yeah, but I think.
But now I have.
But you've seen a whole lot more horror movie. I mean, in sort of you've had the beer bong of horror movies. It's just
horror movie beer bong.
It is the forced flush of horror movies that we have all eagerly. I mean, I
think that's a full moon, isn't that? Gingerbread Man meets horror movie beer bong.
Horror movie beer bong. That's right. It will.
That's a full moon. I'm pretty sure
it will flush you out.
Yeah.
And make you feel kind of funny if you do too much of this, and in a completely enjoyable way.
That's a great question, though. Did any full moon features make that?
So this is a
maybe Puppet Master. Maybe Puppet Master.
Who knows? We will find out.
Maybe Puppet Master.
I think it was on at least a couple of the ballots.
Okay.
Now, for a point of record here,
yes,
Mike and Liz and I are not aware of what the rankings are.
We have not seen the list.
So what we did was we sent out the invitations and
got about 71, 72 respondents.
7,200.
Yeah.
No, we don't. I think what we should say is this is a highly curated.
Oh, there you go. I like that spin. That's a much better spin.
We sent invitations.
Yes, this is and so if you are part of our Patreon group, if you were an interviewee,
yeah,
guaranteed you were going to get the invite to participate in that.
Heck yeah.
And so we've had some people like Tim Scheckmeister who did Hello, a great short film. Michael Lovin, a director who did
Murderberry Win.
Mm-hmm. We have a new group of friends who we met down at the Overlook Film Festival, the Straight Chillin' podcast crew.
That's right.
So some of our brethren over there.
Out of Florida, yeah. Straight Chillin' podcast is all out of Florida.
Yep, Florida. They have someone from South Korea.
That's
And I believe DC. We are
What?
little twinsies in all sorts of ways.
I know copycats.
that. We love you.
Although they have been doing it for like 10 years.
We had to send Robert to DC and be like, we have one too.
That's right. Let's see. We have our Icelandic
Elvar Gunnarsson.
Elvar Gunnarsson.
Yeah,
Therefore,
heck
we
yeah.
are an international
That's right.
curated. And Martinez Jordan
From Spain. Yeah.
who directed.
Framed.
Framed.
And we have
Thank
some
you.
of the
Oh, I'm
group
blanking out
from
on
When the
these
Screaming
names.
Starts. So there's some more Brits.
Yeah. And Joseph Perry from South Korea.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And Robert, formerly from Nicaragua, but now he's back in D.C.
That's
Yeah.
that's not.
But when he casted his vote, he was in Nicaragua.
That's right.
So.
That's right. Very international. Very,
Yeah.
very, 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 very international.
Yeah.
All right. So why did we do this though, Eric? Why did we decide to
Every-
jump back into the top 100 list? Do you think it's because we saw so many films? There was a good chance that the list would just change radically, or did you have an inkling as to what was going to be presented before us?
No, I think what we wanted to do, I think, is, again, because we didn't know as many people in the industry.
Sure.
Right. And I
Sure,
think
sure.
that it, not to find a point on it, but the last time we did it mostly with our friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
it's like, not to say that was a bad survey, but I think now we have a more professional take on it. And I think it will be interesting to see actually the shakeout between last time and this time. I think the bulk of the movies are still there. But Ian, how many of the top 100 movies that we did back in 2018?
Oh yeah.
How many of them are still on the list?
75.
All right.
So 1/4 of the list
It's
is
gone.
new.
Right.
It's gone.
And of the 100 films, or
Well,
the,
you
they're
guys,
on
you guys
the-
keep approaching everything with the glass half full. I'm glass half empty.
you are lamenting the loss of 25 movies.
I am lamenting the
gone.
loss of yes.
But
I'm
it's-
not excited about 25 new movies.
Yeah, but it's-
although maybe one I am excited about.
I think I know which one you're hoping for.
Except for all the Rob Zombie movies.
Right.
Right. Sorry. Well, I think Mike is hanging on for Zombievers. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure.
And thankfully, the Munsters remake was not out when we did this list.
Or
so.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Goodness.
Yeah. Right. Can't wait for that one. Ian. But it's not just what's new to the list and what's been removed from the list, but there's been a lot of changes in our
A
list.
lot of moving around.
And
A lot
so-
of moving around. And I'll say this, to your point about it being a more highly curated list.
Mm-hmm.
When last we did the top 100, the barrier for entry to get onto the list was only 24 points.
Ooh.
That means if one person had it as their second favorite horror movie, it made the top 100. This time around, barrier for entry, 52 points.
So
That means it has to appear on minimum 3 lists
and
in order to make the top
and
100.
fairly high on 3 lists.
Fairly. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, certainly.
Yeah, so if you put something as number 10 on your list and and you were the only one who listed it, ain't getting on.
Nope.
Right.
If you put it as number 1 on your list and you were the only one who listed it, it's not on.
Right. And
3 minimum.
so I think one of the things that we will be keeping an eye on, and we're going to be doing this in 20 movie chunks.
Right.
So we're going to for this episode we're doing 100 to 81. By the time we will be rolling out our numbers 20 to number 1 just in time for Halloween.
Right.
The-
Glass half full. More podcast listening opportunities for you.
Absolutely. This is the prime time for horror movie watching and for horror podcast listening.
That's right.
Now, I will say
So
this.
this would be a good way to know what you're going to watch next.
That's right.
Absolutely. A few other stats that you guys might find interesting. 5 movies kept the same rank between last time and this time.
Interesting.
5.
Interesting.
There are 10 sequels on the list. There are
Interesting.
four remakes on the list.
Okay.
Discouraging.
It's only 4.
Well, but I think one of them might be almost certainly my all-time favorite movie is a remake.
Yeah,
Oh,
Technically, it's re-
okay.
Yeah, and so there's a couple of big ones on there.
The biggest drop in spaces that stayed on the list, 56 places.
Wow.
That's a lot. That is a
What's the
lot.
biggest gainer?
Biggest gainer, 40 places.
Wow.
All right.
Ambitious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
And number of Rob Zombie movies on the list,
Uh-oh. Don't.
Seven.
to
How many does he
be
have?
revealed.
Yes.
Good luck, Rob Zombie.
All
We
of
still
them.
love you, and we would still love to have you on this podcast. So get on over here.
Doing what
And you
you're
can
doing,
bring
Rob
Sherry Moon
Zombie.
Zombie too.
Yeah, that's all right. And Rob
And-
Mosley.
And Rob Mosley and the ghost of
Bill
Sid,
Mosley.
Sid-
Bill
Bill,
Mosley.
Bill Mosley and the ghost of Sid Haig.
Or a cardboard stand-up of Sid Haig. We'd go for that.
Well, let's get going on this list.
Yeah.
I'm
so-
excited. I am
so we're-
very, very excited.
We are starting from I'm expecting that the bottom of our list is probably where a good bit of the shakeout has happened, and that there's a bit of a jumble. So what have we got for our number 100?
Well, let's start with number 100.
Good place to start.
Last time, it was number 44. It is the
Ooh,
biggest
that's our
drop
big drop.
oh,
that stayed on the list. It is the 2011 Adam Wingard film, You're Next.
Wow, it just barely hung on.
my
Oh
list.
wow.
Now, was it on your list, Eric? Did you put your
It
next?
was.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
and I have to
okay.
go back to my list to go take a look and see where I
All
had
right.
it.
Oh,
All
I got you covered, Eric.
Oh, you do.
Number 16 on Eric's list.
Number 16.
Number 22 on Liz's list.
Wow.
So are we the only two people that? No,
No,
we
it would have
at
to
least
be
three
the
to get
third
on there,
person.
right?
Three.
At least
Okay.
3, and at that position, there's probably like 5 or 6 people who had it
Yeah.
on their list.
Now, why were you guys so hot on this movie in particular? Because I think it's a solid movie. It's not anywhere near probably even top 75 for me.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. No,
Yeah.
I just thought
I
it was.
think this one is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
With some great kills. And it was one of the first, I don't know, it kind of was like that new wave in our new golden age of horror movies. Things
Yep.
coming in. It was different. It had that great little kind of twist. Hey, It had Barbara Crampton. It
Yeah.
has Ty West.
That's
in
right.
The movie.
Yeah, and
Great cast.
Sharni Vincent is one of the best
Yeah,
final girls
best
of all
final
time.
girls.
Yep. Yep.
It has one of the greatest betrayals in a horror movie.
Yeah.
I think that the frenetic action, that the opening crazy sequence, fantastic. I think it's got great pacing to it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's one of my all-time favorite home invasion movies. In fact, probably at number
Totally.
16 on my list, I think that would say that it is my favorite of the home
Yeah.
invasion type of films.
All right, let's move on to 99.
Number 99 is a film that Eric Lee once called very, very French. And that one Mike Campbell of The Scariest Things once said is hokey, but I cringed.
Hey,
This-
Sid.
This is the 1960 film Eyes Without a Face.
Oh, yeah.
Eyes without a face.
Now, was this on your list as
Nice.
well?
Thank you, Julia.
Yeah.
It's like he's in the room.
I hadn't seen Eyes Without a Face before we started the podcast. It wasn't on my list.
Right.
I've
But,
still never seen it.
It is no. It's a great. Well, it's a moody movie. It's like very very French.
I still think one of the most shocking things about the film is it's sort of the animal abuse. It's probably
the dogs.
pre ASPCA
Yeah, no,
animal abuse, and you're like, oh man, that's really happening.
Yeah, those poor dogs.
Those poor dogs.
Gee, now I don't know if I do want to see it. I'm noting everything I haven't seen. That's
But
on
Okay.
the top
I think it
100.
also was. So this is in that there was the batch of 1960 films. You got
Yep.
Black Sunday, you got Eyes Without a Face, you got Psycho, you
Yep.
got Peeping Tom. Right. These were the movies that kicked down the standards, and because it was European, the Hays Code couldn't touch it.
Yeah.
And there were some, the facial removal scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I will see
Was
it.
was I think it's one of those
The mask
shocking,
removal, not
yeah.
facial removal.
Well, but there was removing
Yeah.
skin around
Yeah,
the face.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like face transplant surgery stuff
Yeah.
that was beyond anything that any American movie would have been allowed to subject to. And so, and similarly, like Black Sunday had the Iron Maiden coffin type thing, and I think Peeping Tom was British, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so it was.
I'm
it
pretty
ushered
sure
in
out of the
this-
4 of those, though, I think Eyes Without a Face is the only one that's a Criterion Collection film.
Psycho is
I don't think it is.
really.
Wow.
How could it not be? Okay, well, we'll hear from Psycho later, I'm sure.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's somewhere in the top 100.
Alfred Hitchcock, you're cut.
Mike's got a vendetta.
I love
on
Alfred Hitchcock. I love Alfred Hitchcock.
All right.
All right. Number 98, new to the list.
Ooh.
This is the 2005 film Noroi, The Curse.
Oh,
Yeah.
so do any information on was this any one person's big movie? Don't know.
I don't have that information in front of me.
At a minimum, it had to be 3 persons' movies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or a
I know
whole bunch of
Robert
people's
is very
movies.
hot on this film. I don't know if it ended up high on his list or not, but I did. You can read Robert's review of this film on the Scariest Things website, scariousthings.com. 1T.
Yeah, and although this one, I think, I am not really well informed on this movie.
No,
So
I pulled the IMDb blurb
Okay.
here. It says, a documentary filmmaker explores seemingly unrelated paranormal incidents connected by the legend of an ancient demon called the Kagutaba. And it was produced by the same guy who did Ringu and The Grudge, so
So, and what's
There
the
you
year
go.
it was made?
2005.
Okay, so fairly contemporary thing. So it's not like Qui-Gon or something that was an old school Japanese.
And it is found footage, too.
Shaky cam.
Oh, all right.
So, all right. So 97.
97, tied for the most recent film on the list.
Oh.
This is 2019's Midsummer.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay. Ari Aster making an
Interesting.
appearance.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. This folk horror. I think this
Plus.
is
Folk
yeah,
horror plus.
Yeah. And it's.
I'm still convinced that Midsummer is connected back to Hereditary, that there is an actual direct connection that he is just being coy about.
He's setting up a hereditary verse.
A Hereditary verse is happening.
Yeah,
You heard it here first.
So what now? What's your through line? How are you seeing?
Well, just that there was evidence that the two of them were walking as she's coming out of I think she was going to the grocery store. Tony Collette was going to the grocery store. She's approached by the woman who turns out to be part of the mom's cult. The two of them from Midsummer were walking behind her.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Look it up on the internet.
Wow.
Yeah.
So were there any Paimon symbols in Midsummer?
I'm sure if you look closely
many
enough,
symbols.
yeah, there's
I
a
mean,
hell of a lot of symbols.
Ari Aster will give you the Easter eggs.
Yep.
If you go hunting for them,
They're there.
And I think I've heard this from a number of people that actually want Hereditary on a second watch. There's
so much stuff you
reveals,
miss on the
and
first
I think and I saw the. Did you see the long cut of Midsummer?
No, I haven't seen it
Yeah,
yet.
I think it's the same kind of a thing. I think it's a the revelatory scenes. Well, of course you know what's gonna you since you're prepped for what's going to happen. You start looking in all the corners.
Yep.
Because he loves sticking things in the corners. The other thing with Midsummer is that the opening suicide bit.
Yeah,
Oh,
gosh,
that
yes.
was it? That is
That's
rough.
Yeah.
And the sister appears later in the trees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Woo.
so that was one of the
There's
things I
an
knew about
Easter
that,
egg
and that's
for
when
you.
when you go looking for it.
There's an Easter egg for
the
you.
direct-
It's a
director's
great
cut.
film.
It
It's
is.
just
It's a big,
not on my.
slow,
It would be up
brooding
in my
movie,
top 50.
Right.
Probably.
and this is another one where almost all the horror comes in broad daylight.
100%. Yep. Absolutely.
Unusual,
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. For sure.
covered in flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And bear fur.
Yeah, and bear fur and fire.
Those are all spoiler alerts if you haven't seen Midsummer.
Boyfriend in a bear suit. Has been one of the greatest cosplay things. It's like I've seen multiple examples of. Who's the
Halloween
actress?
costume.
The
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh in the maiden's dress and the boyfriend in the bear suit.
Yep.
It's like,
That's
oh,
a great costume idea.
Yeah.
If I
you should do that with
had the time and energy to make a costume,
make Wayne a bear
that
suit.
would be a great one. That would be a great one.
Okay, Ian.
All right, number 96 was in 2018 number 52 on the list. It dropped 44 spots.
Ooh.
This is a film that Eric Lee of The Scariest Things once called the mother of all ghost story movies.
Yes, I think I know what this is.
This is The Haunting from
Oh,
1963.
Love The Haunting.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and this one, we talked about this one fairly recently. I think we were on queer horror.
Yep, absolutely.
And this was, I think, such a well told story, and you know the set design and the opener. You love the opener, Mike.
that
right?
made my top openers of all time for sure. It's a great narrative, and you don't even have to watch the whole film. Just go watch. You can watch the opener on YouTube, and it is a very chilling bit of business for sure.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it also approached ghosts in a serious way that hadn't been addressed in a long time in Hollywood. A lot of ghosts were kind of like Scooby Doo-ish, right? And it was like, or it was kind of it was sort of a return back to the power of the unseen as a scary element, and it also was it proved that you can make a good scary movie with what's in your own head and the shaking of the house and the psychological meltdown of your characters.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I love this movie.
Now, Liz, have you seen The Haunting?
Yes, but
Okay.
not recently.
Okay. It did not make my top 25 list, but I do
No,
like
did
this
not make
film
mine either.
I had it.
a
I think
lot.
I had it on. I think I had it on my previous list.
Okay.
I don't think it made. I'm going through my list now. I don't think it was.
It did not make your list
It
this
was
time.
not this
Got
time.
bounced.
Yeah, it got dropped.
Carrie got on.
But it was. I mean,
Haunting
it's
got pushed.
Haunting is in my top 50.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Is that next? Are we doing top 50 next?
We just maybe when we do in 5 more
Top
years we'll ask
1,000.
everybody to do their top 50s. We'll see how many people want to participate when we do that.
Yeah.
Once you finish a marathon, then you can go do an ultra marathon.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it ultra marathon? There's no water. Is that what the
It's like 100,
just
100
long.
miles.
okay?
100 miles.
Pass.
Yep.
Okay. What are we at now?
All right, number 95. New to the list. My
Mm.
personal number 2
Oh,
favorite horror movie
hey
of
now.
all
so
time.
you
Hey
put this
now.
on the list, Ian.
I think I
Yep.
did, yeah. This is the 2001 Bill Paxton film starring Bill Paxton. This is Frailty.
Good
Yeah.
call.
Yes.
Good call.
Yes.
Great film.
Absolutely. Frailty is a Frailty is a great film.
Yeah, and it's a tragedy. I mean, in the end, it's the kids. You pull for the kid, but in a weird way, you also you pull for the psycho too. You just kind of like, come on, Bill, pull out of it, but nope.
Well, and I think the thing that's interesting too is I don't think Matthew McConaughey gets enough credit for this film either because he was still relatively new in his career. I think he was becoming more of a known quantity. I can't remember if he had done some of I can't remember if he had done the Tom Cruise movie and whatnot. I mean, obviously it was, many years past Dazed and Confused, but he was still somewhat of an unknown quantity, and he actually shows up really well in this film.
Yeah, he was still an emerging actor at that
There you
time.
go. That's what I meant. He was
But
an
yeah,
emerging actor.
I think he was also an emerging actor who was sort of labeled as the next Paul Newman.
Right.
I mean, because he at that, it's like a young Matthew McConaughey was. Actually, an older Matthew McConaughey, still pretty easy on the eyes, but but Paxton. This was Paxton's movie. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
in so
yeah,
many
for sure,
ways,
for
this
sure.
was, the in kind of a a MAGA-ish way. It's sort of the sort of the belief in your the delusions of your of what your you apply your own religious conceits and let them get the better of you, and angels
Hopefully,
or demons.
if somebody's out there making a QAnon horror film, please tell us, because I think it needs to be made.
Right. And with an axe and a creepy pit in the backyard.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
It's just, it writes itself. Come on, people.
So Ian, what was it for you with Frailty?
Well, you already brought up the performances, which are all across the board brilliant.
Yep.
I love the twist at the
Yeah.
end.
Yep.
Fantastic. And I love a horror movie that has ambiance.
Yeah.
And this has ambiance
Sure
in
does.
spades.
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah. When I think of Frailty, the ambience, I think of strong backlighting. It's like you pop open the trap door and it's like backlit with an axe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, love that was I think we saw that together here.
We did. Might have even been a VHS copy.
Yeah.
It was that long ago.
It was
Might have been
I
a
don't know that I've
VHS
had
copy.
not. Yeah, you're right. It may have been. Okay.
All right. Number 94, also new to the list, and features one of the scariest things, most annoying horror movie jerks. This is Frank Darabont's 2007 film, The Mist.
It didn't make the
Yes.
list the last time?
It did not.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay. Well, this is on my list.
Heck yeah.
I love a good creature feature.
Eric Lee's number 19.
Woo,
Yes, indeed.
Wow.
There we go.
That one held.
That's right.
Yeah.
That one held.
It's like, and it's I like it for the multiple monsters.
Now, have you ever read the Stephen? Have you read
I
the?
listened to the audiobook.
You did listen to the audiobook.
Actually,
okay.
actually there was more than an audiobook. It was an audio drama.
Oh
That
wow.
when they
Cool.
did it, and it was a lot of fun.
With like lots of Foley artist.
Yeah, actually, there was a lot of things like, hey, hand me that bag of chips.
Famously a movie with a lot of horses in it. Now,
Now,
have you seen it in black and white, Eric?
I have not.
Because I watched a video recently that revealed that Frank Darabont originally wanted to shoot the film in black and white
Huh.
to kind of call back to the old B-movie creature features, as you brought up.
Yeah. No, it would have
Really?
felt even more Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
Wait, so
that
there is a black and white version kicking around?
There's a black and white version apparently on the Blu-ray. You can do the
Interesting.
The black and white, yeah.
A trip down to movie madness in
Oh.
my future, perhaps.
And it is playing for Stephen King's 75th birthday this year. It's playing over at the Hollywood Theater right now.
Oh, and another good
Yeah,
point. First
yeah.
Stephen King film on the list.
Yeah.
Oh, won't be the last.
Okay.
First of many.
Maybe.
Maybe.
That was a big question
To
mark.
go along with
Big
things like
question mark.
maybe Thinner and Maximum Overdrive,
Lawn-
maybe.
lawn-
Christine,
Man.
obviously. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Who knows? That's Christine could be a close cut. Cujo could be a close cut. We'll see. No, I love The Mist. I think this is also featuring one of the most notorious endings of a movie of all time. The old sucker gut punch at the end. It's like Mike and I sitting in the theater going, "What?
Yeah.
What?"
That wasn't fun.
Yeah, saw that in the theater.
It's a fun movie until it's not.
That's right. And then it becomes, that was a depressing ending. But at the same time, it's like, but it was a perfect ending. But
True
it was
indeed.
totally depressing.
True indeed.
All right. Number 93 on the list was number 53 last time. It's another big dropper, 40 spots.
Wow.
Made the Scariest Things horror at the workplace list.
Ooh.
This is session 9 from 2000.
Yeah. Yes.
Love this
Yes.
film.
Great film. Great
Was
film.
this on your list?
Absolutely. This was on my list last time too.
It was on my list too.
Liz's number 13, Mike's number 19.
Ooh, all right.
Okay.
Good job, Liz.
So,
Yep,
by the way,
I love this movie.
we
Now, how many David Caruso films are on the list? That's the big question.
one.
What?
Okay, here's a little bit of background information for you guys. I think we forgot to announce this, but this
Yeah.
is actually we are doing sort of the side bet kind of a thing happening here, where the podcaster with the most movies that show up on the top 100.
The podcaster that is most in sync
Sync.
with the public the viewing public
gets to
exert their will over everyone else and become a
new mayor of
dictatorial
Tropetown.
mayor of Tropetown.
Not Trumptown. Oh no.
Same thing.
Oh,
No, not Tropetown.
Trump.
Tropetown.
Yeah.
So I think I've sort of lost track of where we are relative to that, but I think I had the mist. You guys have session 9, and
You had your next also, so
Yep.
we both have 2.
okay.
Here's what I would say about Session 9. I mean, much like The Mist, it's a pretty heavy film. Although there's not really much fun to Session 9. It's not a fun movie, but it's a very heavy film, and it also has kind of a gut punch at the end. But getting to that gut punch is a lot of pretty tense moments, and of course, it also features Larry Fessenden, so not just David Caruso, which is pretty awesome in everyone's book, but it also features Larry Fessenden, who was, I mean, at that point in time, relatively newish to the biz.
He's been at it for a while, but anytime he shows up, it's sort of a stamp of indie authenticity.
That's right. Yes, and Session 9 is also one of the great. If you're looking for a film featuring a derelict, a mental institution, you're not going to find a better one than
the
than
Danbury
this.
Institute.
Yeah, the Danbury Institute.
Danvers.
Danvers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the best thing about Session 9 is it's sort of built into the title, is that you get the slow reveal, one reel after another, of a descent into somebody's psychological delirium, and the fact that these guys are dumb enough to let that thing play. Like, come on, you guys, don't do it. This is there's nothing comes. It's like, don't open that creepy book. It's don't play those audio sessions of some deranged psychopath doing confessions onto audio tape. That can lead to no good.
And it was filmed on location at the Danvers State Mental Hospital in Massachusetts before that got demolished.
Oh, it's perfect timing.
Wow.
Yep.
It was. I think they were
That
trying.
place is a character.
Yes,
in
it
the
totally
film.
is. One of the best haunted locations in filmdom.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
All right, moving on
All
to
This is number 92. New to the list, Hellraiser 2. Hellbound.
Wow. Okay, so
Now, I gotta hope Hellraiser's on the list, because this would be like the previous list where we had Friday the 13th Part 6 and no Friday the 13th.
yeah, okay, so I think we were just talking about this earlier today, but there's a new Hellraiser coming out.
That's right. October 4th, 7th.
7th.
And it's David Bruckner. And Liz, what did you brought this up previously?
Yeah.
For which?
Because David Bruckner did The Night House. David Bruckner did The Ritual. He did a piece of VHS. And I also think he did a piece of Southbound.
Yep.
Don't quote me on that, but I think he did. Yeah. So it's going to be on Hulu. I'm looking forward to it. It's a hard R, according to what Clive Barker has been saying about this new film, because I think he had a lot of input.
Yep.
So we'll see.
But-
I'm looking
But
forward
now
to
what
it.
was
Speaking of Hellraiser 2,
Yeah, but what was the
Yeah,
draw
I
to
can't
Hellraiser 2?
Remember Hellraiser 2?
I
Because it
honestly
was
can't
called-
either.
I think it had Terry Farrell
no
in it
idea.
from if we can IMDb that, who was in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I
On
think
it.
it was Terry Farrell.
Oh man, you're well out of my league
Was-
there. Okay,
So, but
so it wasn't on your list.
no,
Was it on-
Hellraiser 2 Hellbound? That is it.
Yeah. But I think that the first 3 Hellraisers were solid because they all sort of built upon previous storylines. I think the handy thing with the Cenobites, aka Mike Campbell.
The Order of the Gash.
Thank you.
But now, do you honestly remember this film? Though, do you
I- what
remember
I-
seeing it?
I
remember
remember.
it because it was in the hospital.
Yes.
Okay.
But
What
I couldn't tell you anything else.
Okay.
I remember it because it featured the young protagonist running around screaming "Christy" or something like that for a whole bunch of times, and then there was this tunnel monster that would chase them around.
Okay.
But honestly, I can't it might be Hellraiser 3 that I'm thinking about. Like Hellraiser 1, I have strong memories of because I've seen that one multiple times. I've seen Hellraiser 2, Hellraiser 3, and then the jumping the shark moment, Hellraiser 4, they go to space.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay,
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
it. They've
That's
given
it.
up.
All right, so this is officially, I think, the first film on the list we can't totally
Oh,
vouch
this
for.
is one of the sequels, though, right?
Yes.
It is
So
one
there
of the
were
10
four
sequels.
This is
Oh,
one of the
that's
sequels.
right. Yeah, that we cannot vouch for.
This is from 1988. Jeez, I didn't think Hellraiser was that.
Man, they
They-
went
they-
right. They went
right
right
at
back
it.
to it. Yeah, or they never left it. They just kept going.
Yeah. Okay.
They
So
had extra film in the can. Keep it going.
so
All right,
Hellbound
next.
Hellraiser
right.
2.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Number 91 was number 37 last time around.
Another
Ooh.
big drop.
That's a drop of 54 places.
Woo.
It's
That's
Mike's
our biggest one.
It's Mike's number 4 movie of all time.
Whoa.
Hell
big-
yeah.
it's still there.
It's Pet Cemetery,
Yes.
1989.
Now, I posit that the reason it dropped so far was because people were confused with the remake. Because the remake is an inferior product. It's okay. The remake is okay. It's passable. It is otherwise unremarkable. The original is still unimpeachable, and I still argue that Zelda is the scariest, or one of the scariest things, persons, creatures in horror film history
Yeah, shock
of
value
all
for
time.
that.
And
for sure.
the ankle, the Achilles tendon.
Oh
part.
God,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Fred,
yeah,
Fred,
yeah.
Fred Gwynn.
To
with
this
Ash,
day.
yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
the little boy was Ash, right?
With
Yes.
the little boy,
Ash, yeah.
Gage.
Gage.
Oh,
Gage,
Gage.
not Ash. Yeah, Gage.
Now,
yeah.
who has the best Fred Gwynn impersonation?
Oh,
Eric Lee, looking at you.
Oh, why would they do that?
no, that's.
God,
I'm not sure who that might have been. Wilford Brimley. That was Wilford Brimley. That was not Fred Gwynn.
Feature ropes.
That was
When was
Cocoon.
the last time you saw Pet Cemetery, Mike? Since it's on your list.
A couple years ago, I think. You know what? I think the last time we saw it was when we were doing the episode about women in horror and women directors in particular. And I was like, you know what? I was so intrigued, and I had kind of forgotten about the fact that this was a female-directed film, and I thought I'm going to go back and look at this, and I watched it again, and it is still a really, really great film. And I actually, you know what? Now that you say it, Liz, it might have also been around the time that the remake came out.
Right.
It's the remake is solid. It's still super unclear as to why it needed to be remade. But you know, they did, and there you have it.
I will say this.
Yeah.
The remake got 0 votes.
Well, sure. Yeah. As well as it should.
A little bit of an editorial note.
Yeah.
Rewinding. So Terry Farrell was in Hellraiser 3, not Hellraiser 2. So my memories are from Hellraiser 3. I don't remember Hellraiser 2.
I was just in the hospital, and her name is Christy, and
Right.
she's wearing, a hospital gown, and she's got her puzzle box, and
Yeah,
that's all.
Ashley Lawrence was the lead in that, along with the estimable Doug Bradley, who always
of
plays
course.
Pinhead.
Yes.
All right.
Well,
Until
now.
coming up.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Number 90 on the list, brand new. And in 2018, one Liz Williams said of the previous top 100 list that Ty West is not on the top 100 is an oversight. Well,
That's right.
Liz,
Fix it.
that oversight has been corrected because the number 90 movie is the 2009 film House of the Devil.
There you go. And
I apologize, Ty West. I did not put it on. My list.
No, this is Mike's number 3 though.
Yeah.
no, yeah, so
Nice.
that's right. So, but
We
Liz
forgot
is
about it, and then you saw it again, and you were like, "It's so damn good. It's going to number 3."
That's right.
It's really
That's
good.
right.
It
It's
was
so
on
good.
it was on my list for a bit and it fell off, but it's still really, really good. We did a whole episode on it. If you
Yeah.
if you need
Not that
the
long
deep
ago.
dive,
Yep.
yeah, you can go ahead and listen to that podcast. And that was one of the things that sort of rekindled my interest in Ty West in general.
Sure.
Um,
And certainly, yeah, this year's
Good timing. 'cause
X
you're gonna get
and this year's
tons and tons of Ty
Pearl.
West.
Yeah, and the next year's Maxine.
Maxine.
so
Yeah.
is Maxine a sequel to
Uh,
X?
It's a direct
so it's
sequel to
after.
X. Yeah, it's like 10 years after X.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting, a few years down the road, whether people start putting X into, because that was something that the three of us all loved
Right.
from this year. Pearl, you can read Mike Campbell's review.
That's right.
We just
That's
recently posted. Not as good as X.
This will date
you see it?
stamp this episode.
I haven't seen it yet, Liz.
Okay, I
and I know
haven't
that
seen
you're
it either, so
you're
we'll
scheduled
see.
to see it, and probably by the time we do, by the time we're finished with recording our top 100s, you'll be able to weigh in and say whether it deserves to be on there or not.
Yeah.
But here's what I like about Ty West, and I think we talked about this in the episode we did on the House of the Devil. I think what's great about him is that, save for a Western, he has largely stuck with the genre. He hasn't always stuck with film. He's done a little bit of TV, but even the TV he did was The Exorcist TV show, which was pretty solid, although also somewhat unremarkable in that you can't really tell that that there is no sort of Ty West look and feel to the Exorcist episodes he did, but that House of the Devil is probably the most Ty West of all the Ty West films.
Yep. Although I have a fond spot for The Innkeepers.
I do too. Yeah,
I
very,
love The
very good film.
Innkeepers. So I got 3 movies of Ty West that I absolutely love. I think, X,
Yeah.
Innkeepers, House of the Devil.
Sacrament.
I have Sacrament.
Sacrament's good
yeah.
too. Yeah, Sacrament is really good.
The Roost is good. Yeah,
I haven't seen The
done,
Roost.
he's done a lot of
So-
good. He's
They're all
done a
good.
lot of really good stuff.
So yeah,
All right.
But he's now past the young and up and comer. He's now
Right.
he is
We missed him. It was like what, 8 years between
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
his last film, which I
quite a
guess
bit of
was The
time.
Sacrament
Yep.
and X.
Mhm.
So
so back
welcome
at
back,
it.
Ty West.
Yes.
Good
Yeah.
job. Keep at it. Keep at it, young man.
All right, number 89 on the list. New to the list, it's the 2007 film Inside.
Oh.
Ow.
Holland Interior, the Christmas film from France.
Mm.
Yes.
Now, Liz, where does this appear on your top 25 list?
It does not appear on
Oh,
my
it does not.
Really? Wow.
How the hell did this make it
This
on
is-
the list then?
Chris.
Oh,
I bet had it
Chris.
high on his list.
Chris put okay.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
It's a
Well,
really, really, really good film.
yeah,
It's just brutal
yeah.
and bloody.
Yeah.
Yeah, judging by the IMDb tags alone,
Yeah.
it's a bridge too far for me.
So what are the IMDb
The
tags?
IMDb tags: sadism, stabbed in the head, Christmas horror, and the real kicker: beating a pregnant woman, which I
Point
didn't.
of the movie.
I didn't know was an IMDb tag.
Yeah, is there like a pick list you just go down?
It's like,
and,
I want to watch that movie where they beat on a pregnant woman.
For beating the pregnant woman. Well, Inside will.
But it's woman on woman crime,
Beating
so
is
Yeah.
maybe
nice.
yeah,
that's a
Compared to
that's a
what she
gentle
does
way
to
of
her.
putting it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, this is for this is not where you start out. This is not your beginner's horror movie.
no, this is not Gremlins.
This is not even for hardened veterans like myself. I don't know that I could get through. Like I just got through Martyrs.
Yeah,
And I'm glad I did. It is an excellent movie. It was rough. I think Inside would up the ante even more than that. It's just. I've seen
It's
snippets
bloodier.
Oh, you've
I've
never
seen-
seen it?
I have not seen-
visceral.
I-
you
Oh,
haven't
you're
seen it.
waxing
Christmas
philosophically
is
about
right
it, and I
around
was
the
like, oh my
corner.
gosh, you've seen it?
it. No. I mean, I've seen snippets of it.
Okay,
But because
okay.
you look
You
through
gotta
there and it's
watch
like, there's a guy getting his head blown off with a shotgun. It's like,
It's
ooh.
really, really good.
and a pregnant woman getting stabbed and beaten up, and it's like
That's
it's
how you got to get the baby out.
So this
right.
is the first film in our list so far you have not seen.
I have not seen the Japanese movie, the Noroi. I haven't
okay.
seen that one either.
Okay.
All right, number 88. Last time around was number 85, so it falls 3 spots.
Mm.
Not,
This is-
not far.
No, this is the 2009 Ruben Fleischer film Zombieland.
Okay.
Ah.
Fun movie.
Very fun.
Yeah.
I think this is there are all different kinds of horror movies, and horror comedies count. And this one,
Sure.
and it's the characters, they're evergreen characters now. It's Wichita, and
Tallahassee,
yeah,
Little Rock.
yeah, and Woody Harrelson is a hoot. Bill Murray is Bill Murray.
This is what I wonder about this film. This is not on my list, not
Right.
anywhere close to my list. I wonder how, because it's it's fun. It's a nice time at the theater, but it's not. I wouldn't call it great horror cinema. I wouldn't even call it a great horror comedy. I wonder how in like 10, 20 years how dated this is going to look. I think it's going to be
When did they
really,
make
really
this?
dated.
This is 2009. Liz.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably already dated.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I think zombie movies are
Ugh, I'm over it.
dated.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's the
Well, sure. Yeah.
I think as a because this was at the peak of the zombie craze. This was also
Right.
when
Were they
Walking Dead
fast
was
or
hot.
slow zombies?
Fast zombies.
Fast-ish.
Yeah,
Fast-ish,
they weren't
yeah.
they weren't as fast as say 28 Days Later zombies or
Train to Busan.
or World War Z where they're just
like
they're like
medium.
athletes.
Yeah.
Power walking zombies.
Yeah, no, these are not the Romero shufflers.
Power
Yeah,
walking zombies.
They're power walking.
right. Yeah, going
Not too
going.
fast, not too slow.
I remember actually being in
They're
a
not shuffling
Dallas
and they're not sprinting.
shopping mall that was largely empty, and then there would be a bunch of women in these like pink jump like athletic track suits doing power walking in this mall in Dallas, and it
So
felt
it was-
in
and it
Dallas,
felt
you gotta be in the mall.
and it felt like this was a
So it really was Dawn of the Dead.
it was Dawn of the Dead. It was totally Dawn of the Dead. It was power walking, middle-aged zombie women.
The mall is
Just
closed, but all
Yeah.
you know is but the mall.
Right. Yeah, they're just sort of they're shuffling through. It's like, what in the world? What are they doing? Okay.
All right,
Anyways.
Zombieland.
All right.
Please tell me Zombieland 2 is not on the list.
Oh, Mike's bagging on the top 100, shaming. It's like, this is
no.
the first.
Oh, yeah,
This is the
no,
first. This is the
it's
first one that Mike is
All
shaming.
shame, harassment, intimidation.
That's
oh yeah,
right.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
All right, number 87. One Mike Campbell of
Uh-oh.
The Scariest Things
We'll see if this is any good.
once said of this movie, it's like if David Bowie was a vampire. This is the 1922 film Nosferatu.
Okay. That's amazing that Nosferatu has this kind of staying power.
That is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
That
It's 100 years old.
Yeah, exactly. 100
Wow.
years
Yeah,
old.
happy birthday, Nosferatu. It is
Good job, Max Fleming.
still super creepy. Not creepy, but not scary at this point because
Yeah.
we're so inured from it. But I think it remains effective because of the way that the film stock is kind of it seems like almost like old found footage,
Right.
in a kind of a weird way. It's
Right,
like,
right.
And it's the frames per second that the people kind of move around, kind of herky jerky, and
Yeah.
he's a weird looking dude.
Oh,
Absolutely.
for my money, scariest looking vampire that's ever been on the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
he's
for sure,
he's
for
hard
sure.
he's hard to
Yeah.
look at. He's
Yeah.
a Max Shrek. Did you ever see what was the
Shadow of the Vampire.
Yeah,
with Willem Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe, right?
Dafoe.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
you got a Best Actor nod for that thing, and apparently Max Shrek was a real weirdo.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
yeah, and not to say that Willem Dafoe is not, but
Well, you play Jesus in a movie. And
Right,
then... All right. Number 86. New to the list. Eric Lee of The Scariest Things.
yes.
Gave this film 4 stars and said of it, "This is the rough equivalent of a cold, wet blanket that will
what was this?
absorb your soul and use it as a cleaning rag."
Oh yes.
Whoa.
I can't believe I actually said something that poetic.
There was a lot of fabric mixed metaphors there.
So what could
Blankets
this
and rags
What could this be?
It's the 2013 film Under the Skin.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Although it's not on my top 25.
It's not, no.
But yeah, no, this is.
But enough. Well, 3 people had it. On their top
I think
25.
this is one of Robert's favorite movies.
Okay.
This one makes you feel miserable. This is a feel bad movie. It's really really well done, and it features a young Scarlett Johansson before her Black Widow thing, but after the Bill Murray movie.
Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation. Yeah, I think she had actually filmed Lost in Translation in between the shooting of and release of Under the Skin, and so famously that she is naked in a good chunk of the movie. And it's like
No.
well,
Lost in
so-
Translation was like 10 years earlier.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but what I'm saying is that Under the Skin took a long time to shoot.
Oh, okay.
It was,
But that was
between the
2013, 2003.
Yeah, I think that Under the Skin was filmed much earlier, and it didn't get a. I think
Right, I remember
it got
that. Yeah.
it got a release after Scarlett Johansson became more famous,
Oh, gotcha.
and then it
gotcha.
became sort of salacious because she's naked in a good chunk of the movie,
right.
or in enough of the movie that people went, "Oh, I got to go see this." But it was
My take on it was it felt to me more, and I know this is a very fine line. I know we're splitting hairs here, but it felt like it calibrated more to science fiction than it did to horror for me. And I get why you say it would be horror. I totally get that, but to me, it still feels like a sci-fi film.
I mean, it had a lot of mystery in it to me, and the fact that she is an alien of some sort.
Right.
Yeah, I get that, but I think that there is something like the fact that in the same, like, this is the movie that something like Species should have been.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So it is science fiction horror.
Yeah.
And you're saying it's more science fiction than horror. I think
Correct.
that I think it's fairly even up because I think in a way that they don't. I think there are aspects of it that they don't try and explain the alienness of it.
Sure.
Sure. And there are parts of it that will just carve your soul out, like where there's the scene at the beach, which just seems like that afterwards you just feel like hollowed out. I think it gets grim.
under
It's
your
really
skin.
grim. Yes, it does. Not on my top 25 list, but I respect that it made the list.
Yeah. All right.
All
Moving
right.
on.
Number 85. This is the first John Carpenter film on the list.
Oh.
This is 1980's The Fall.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Was number
This is,
66 last time around.
They're having special events for the Fog because it's the 40th anniversary or something.
42nd.
42nd. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Maybe they had them, or maybe they delayed them
No,
because
no,
of
it's like
they
kind of
delayed
right
them
now.
because of the pandemic. Is what they did,
That could
Liz.
be. That could
Yeah.
be it.
Yeah,
That makes total sense.
yeah, and triple threat leading ladies here. You got Adrienne Barbeau, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Janet Leigh.
Yep.
You get mother and daughter on the screen at the same time.
This is
Pretty
the
awesome.
first Jamie Lee Curtis film so far.
So far,
Yeah,
Is
we-
it the
we may
only
see-
one on the list?
Probably.
not.
Yeah.
Terror Train's going to be on here somewhere.
Certainly prom night.
Come on, Terror Train. Come on, Terror Train.
So, yeah, or what is it, Virus?
Yeah.
She's got to be on here for Virus.
Yeah.
No, this was the Fog. This was so it was Halloween, the Fog, or
Halloween, The Fog, The Thing, and
then Big Trouble in Little China.
no, then Christine.
Christine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that
Probably the most solid run. I think we talked about this recently. I think it is one of the most solid runs you will ever find of any director, dead or alive. I mean, that's an incredible run right there.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Incredible.
like, at least two of them changed the movie landscape forever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And interestingly, that the cheap one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going to hear about both of the. We're going to hear about the Halloween the thing later on. I'm sure.
We may hear about Christine.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And but it's that the little cheap movie was made so much money, and the big expensive movie tanked.
Right.
Which was remarkable,
Right.
Hollywood bet on Carpenter, lost, but movie fans won,
Right.
which is one of those interesting things. Just one of those the things about John Carpenter, and this was his middle movie of that run,
Right.
or one
Right.
of the middle, yeah, because Christine certainly, yeah, that was
And
I'll see if Christine makes it. I'm interested to see it. I think it has a chance.
well, I mean, if The Fog with the great Hal Holbrook made it,
Right.
then
Ghost
I think-
Pirates.
and Ghost Pirates. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
All right. Number 84 made the Scariest Things one-off oddball horror episode. And on that episode, Mike Campbell said, "You watch this once and you're done." Eric Lee said, "I couldn't sleep after I watched it." It's new to the list. It's 1977's Eraserhead.
Oh, God. Yeah. Man, Eraserhead.
I've never seen the whole thing.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Eraserhead is that. Okay, I was talking about feel bad, like Under the Skin is a feel bad movie. This is a pull your soul out movie. This is like it's raining fetuses and this pimply faced kid is dancing and stomping on the rain of fetuses. And it's like, come on, what is this? And then they sit down. There's this mutant crying baby in the background, and then this kind of degenerate family sitting down for dinner, and they're gonna have this Cornish game hens, and the chickens are still twitching. It's like yuck.
Now,
But
when,
David Lynch, man, he hit a nerve on me. That one I couldn't. I did not sleep that night.
now, when was the last time you saw this? Eraserhead.
1988 in the dorms.
Oh my gosh! So you have not gone back and ever given Eraserhead a second look.
I don't want to.
Okay. I'm just asking.
It's a hell of a movie, but I don't want to watch it again.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get
It
that.
didn't make me feel good.
Yeah. David Lynch does a weather report now, and he's done from Los Angeles. He's done 152 episodes of his weather report. That is a true story. And this, of course, was his first film, and he, I think, only got weirder and explored the
Weirder.
Blue
Weirder than-
Velvet, Twin Peaks.
It's not weirder than Eraserhead. I mean,
I
he
don't
set the
know.
table. He set
Lost
a very
Highway.
weird high.
I think he got pretty weird. I think I think Lost Highway is a pretty damn weird film.
Now, Liz, have you seen Eraserhead? You said seen
Only
part of it.
half of it, so I'm
Okay.
going to put it on my list as not having seen it.
Okay.
I didn't make it to the end. I'm
Okay.
not a Lynch fan. It's too weird for me. I need procedural movies for my simple little mind.
Yeah, I'm not a David. I have never been a David Lynch fan either, Liz, and I would think I should be, but I am just absolutely not. And for me, it feels like a lot of it is just sort of disconnected art pieces that look good, but there's no clear
All
and
style, no
coherent
substance, maybe?
through line to any of it.
I loved Twin Peaks. I was a fan. I mean, it was me. I think it was me and Elise and oh gosh, who else? Of our mates back in college, and it would be like, hey, dress up as your favorite Twin Peaks character, kind of a thing.
Right.
It was cosplay before cosplay.
Right.
I think Elise showed up as the log lady. It was, but yeah, David Lynch making the list. We'll see if he's got any more left. Well, because
Joseph sure hopes he
yeah,
does.
I know. Notoriously, we will be interested to see if Blue Velvet makes the list because
Oh, dear
that
God.
is a horror movie or not. It's a great thriller, but is it a horror movie? We've had our doubts.
All right.
Made it the last time. We'll see if it makes it
Yep.
again this time. One of our writers, Joseph Perry, put that as his number one. So we'll find out.
Okay. Number 83. On the Scariest Things franchise film ranking episode, Mike Campbell called this the 4th best Halloween movie.
And that is Season of the Witch.
Bam!
which is interesting. I think originally this thing was pilloried because it was so unlike Halloween's 1 and 2.
Well, yeah, everybody absolutely wanted to see Michael Myers again. And when they rolled into the drive-in and there was no Michael Myers, I think people were understandably pissed. And I think it was... What's that?
Is this number 2 of our sequels on the list?
Oh, yeah, this would be number
So
2
there's only
of the
2 more?
No, there
Oh,
were
10. There
10
was 10.
Oh,
sequels.
I
Yeah.
thought you said 4.
four
Yeah.
remakes.
Yeah.
Ah, 4 remake. Okay. I was getting nervous for one of my picks.
Yeah, and
Sorry, Mike.
No. The thing I love about this film too is it's got another gentleman who was also in the Fog, Tom Atkins, who was in goddamn near every single '80s B horror movie. I mean, he was an absolute stalwart in the horror community, and he stuck with it for a long time. And so, yeah, to see him as somebody who's already appeared twice on our top 100 list, Mr. Tom Atkins, is pretty darn cool. And Halloween 3 is a great film. I think people, again, were understandably frustrated by the fact that it did not feature Michael Myers, and it was a very, very different film. And I think it's only been within the last 5 to 10 years that people have gone, oh, wait a second, I should give this a second look. And I think it's come back. There's been a resurgence for this film.
But you know what the best thing about Halloween 3 is?
The TV ads.
Ian, kick the music. Happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Oh man, Eric Lee, I want to know if you can come up with a jingle for our number 82 movie.
Uh-oh. I don't.
It was number 31 last time around, so it's dropped 51 places.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's Curse of the Demon from 1957.
It's the curse.
Eric Lee, hit the jingle.
It's the cursed turd. This was
Now, why do you speculate that it dropped so dang far?
I don't.
We're getting so far removed from that period of time.
I think that what happened the last time is we only had 30 people. And I actually was on my list the last time. It fell off my list this time.
Okay.
So one of the votes dropped, but it still has enough votes to stay. And it's for a movie from 1958, I think. Is it 58, Ian?
57.
57. Yeah. It takes there's most of the people, and I think we can include Liz in this, who are or contemporary horror fans are not fans of golden and silver age horror movies. There are a few fans, a few of our voters who are, but I think when we expanded our list, I think that it sort of the classic horror movie fans became fewer and farther between, and so I think that's why it fell.
Okay.
I think that roughly the same people probably were voting for it again, and the fact that it is at 80, what is it, 83?
82.
82. Means that it still garnered a considerable amount of votes, and it's a great film.
I love its casual treatment of Satanism.
Yes.
It was like, oh yeah, I dabbled in Mormonism, I dabbled in Hinduism, and Satanism too.
Yeah.
And they're all kind
kinda
of
like-
they're all about the same.
They're the Shriners, Satanists. But the reason why I called it the cursed turd, the running joke I think that we had applied to this was that you don't want to be left with the curse in your pocket, but
Right.
it was like, oh, turds in your pocket now. And there was always there are these great moments where everybody is in the know about the rules of don't accept the curse. It's like someone's got the curse, but the only way you can give it to get the curse is to accept as a gift or as some sort of that you have to actively acknowledge receipt of the curse and be willing to take it.
Cursed turd.
The cursed turd.
All
And
right.
you get stuck with a cursed turd, you get eaten by the demon.
That's right.
Great looking demon. But it only shows up for like a total of 5 minutes in the whole, or maybe if that 2 minutes in the whole movie.
And it's at the very end too.
Well, there's a portion in the middle where it shows. I mean, it's this big. you
Oh,
can see-
yeah, that's right. At the train
At
station.
the train station,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It was
Yep.
big, and it was great. But I would have liked more demon. I think we were talking about the Alice Kriege movie, which is we wanted more.
Oh, witch.
More
Yeah.
witch.
Turn up the witch dial.
Yeah, turn up the witch
Turn
dial. Turn
up
up the demon dial.
The
Yep.
demon dial.
All right. Final film of the night.
Woo!
Number 81 was number 36, so it drops 45 spots.
Man, hanging on.
Falling like rain.
And we've brought it up already. It's the 1986 film Blue Velvet.
Oh, it made it.
Oh,
Congratulations, Joseph.
Barely.
It's hang on. Somebody
Barely.
else. This may be the 1-2 combination of Scott Alley and Joseph Perry.
That's right. That's right.
I think it's both of their number ones.
Right,
But
right.
still, that would only put you at 50, and you needed 52 votes, right?
Yeah.
make the list,
So
yeah.
somebody
there was
else
a third.
threw
There's
it
a
on
third
there.
voter who liked Blue Velvet enough to get it on the
I mean,
top 100.
much like we were just talking about with Under the Skin, where I was positing that this is calibrated more to the sci-fi. I think this calibrates more to the thriller.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's definitely a maniacal film, but I still don't fundamentally think it's a horror film.
If
I mean, Dennis Hopper huffing, nitrous oxide and drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon, is definitely menacing. But to me,
Right.
there's nothing. There's
Yep.
there's no horror element
Right.
to
Right.
any of it.
is Fatal Attraction a horror movie?
No.
Right.
no.
And so similarly, I think Blue Velvet has some weirdness to it, but it's a weird noir. It's an excellent thriller.
Yeah.
It's just it's straining the boundaries of calling it a horror movie. However, IMDb does list it as a horror movie, which is like, well, I guess we got to put it on there.
Right.
So,
Well,
but
they also have a punching pregnant women tag too. So
Yeah.
IMDb is questionable.
So
questionable at best.
Yep. There must be multiple punching pregnant women movies, and Interior is perhaps the best of them. Okay.
I'm gonna
Now,
go
Liz,
find
did
that
you
filter
did-
and click on it?
Liz, did you did not vote for Blue Velvet, did you?
No,
Okay.
Not to.
I've seen it one time. That was enough.
Yeah. It's a disturbing movie,
Oh yeah, for sure.
but yeah. So is Fatal Attraction, or name your favorite psychopath like Manhunter or something like that. It's
Right.
like
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's
Right.
more
that's-
horror than Blue Velvet.
That's true.
Oh,
'Cause that's-
absolutely. Yep.
So
Absolutely.
because we know what followed Manhunter, and everybody calls it a horror movie.
Yep.
So okay, well that gets us to the end of the first 20 movies of our top 100. So your impressions so far, Liz? What do you think of the first of our first 20? Do you think is it a
I have 4 that I haven't seen. Well, technically 3.5. 2 that were on my list. I'd say it's pretty solid. I'm not too surprised. I'm surprised that Zombieland's on there, but hey. At least it's at the bottom.
Right, Mike?
I think there's quite a few that I'm surprised about, and I'm surprised how many films are sort of on the edge of horror. I think that's probably the most there's no quite a few of these films don't have a very, very clear, in my mind, connection to horror. But otherwise, I think there's some really stellar films on here.
Yeah, you're saying that because of House of the Devil.
House of the Devil and Pet Cemetery, Pet Cemetery Stayed, which that to me I think is probably the biggest. That was the biggest shock of the night, to see how far Pet Cemetery had fallen, 53 spots. I mean, that is a big drop. 53,
Yeah.
43, a lot.
Yeah.
Many.
lot.
And Eric, what were your thoughts for the first chunk of the top 100 of all
I think
time?
I think as I suspected, it was going to be very different than our last bottom 20.
Yeah.
I think that there's been a lot of films that have shuffled off. I'm not familiar. There's the only one that I'm really not familiar with is Noroi. But I think I can respect the rest of the list. I know you guys aren't big on Zombieland, but I thought I think Zombieland was fun, and it was I think it's actually it qualifies more as more of a horror movie than say Blue Velvet does. But I think Blue Velvet is Blue Velvet is a stellar movie. I don't know that it's it lands in horror, but I think we're off to a great start. So again, what we are trying to develop here is a recommendations list for anybody, because every good movie website needs to be able to have a recommendation list, because when you tell somebody that you do that, I do a horror movie podcast, what's usually the first thing they ask you?
should I see Gremlins or not?
Yeah. And then the other question is, do you have any recommendations for me
Right.
about what movies I should watch? And then my answer is, well, we've got a top 100 list, and then you can start from there, and you can sort of sort through there what might interest you. But these would be our recommendations, and I think that there's a lot of movies.
You
that are on
don't
this
say.
list.
Even though I have a horror podcast, I'm really not a psychopath.
Yeah. Well, you have, that's sort of the running assumption.
Right.
But no, I like this. I like how we've gotten off to a start. There's some indie undergroundish kind of stuff.
Yep.
House of the Devil. I
House
think
of
you'd
the Devil,
have to consider that. Frailty was a great addition to the list.
Mm-hmm.
I was really happy to see The Haunting still on the list.
And
Some
The
respect
Mist.
for old
The
school.
Mist.
The Mist. I love
Yeah.
The Mist.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot that The Mist didn't, because I voted for The Mist twice, and this time I got people to help me out here. Mrs. Carmody would be so proud. So, anyways, we'd love to thank you guys for listening. I do want to put a plug out because one of our sponsors, again, Atmos FX, they've got a bunch of new animations up on their site. If you don't know about Atmos Effects, go onto our website, click on the link. Anything that you get from Atmos Effects helps us out as a podcast, and you will up your game to exponential levels on Halloween, because you'll be able to project spooky things onto your windows, onto your pumpkins, and it's spectacular stuff. I've got 3 projectors, so I am set up.
All right.
So yeah, love Atmos Effects. Go check out their stuff, and also check out Fangoria Magazine, who's another one of our
Hell
sponsors. Because there is a Scariest Things discount where you can get 10% off if you check our links. So that they're bigger and better than ever, because it's now no longer a flimsy. It's actually almost a book form magazine, and it comes out quarterly, and really great stuff.
All right,
all killer, no filler.
Say goodnight, Mrs. Carmody.
Good night, Mrs. Carmody.